right, welcome everybody to the Tawnya Love Show, and happy birthday to Amnon, who just
Thank,
celebrated his birthday.
thank
What
you.
were you gonna say?
No, I was just a thank you.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome. So yeah, I just basically this whole week was nice to have off, and I had some time to rest and kind of realign and get myself back on. Basically, just get myself totally back in my power in ways that I've been challenged. And as I was going through my own process, I was really, and I encourage everyone to do this. And I feel like maybe that's why I'm even here speaking to you all each week, is not that I'm perfect, but that I actually speak very truthfully and very humbly and like to share my own experience in a transparent way to help encourage others to find their alignment. And there's, as the humanness in us, we're going to have challenges at times, or we're going to have things that come in. And sometimes what I love is when I get challenged, what I've found is that those are the times that the biggest growth and evolution happens for me personally. And so rather than feel angry when something's glitched, or when there's somebody, challenging you, or maybe there's things not going the way you hope they would go, but we can tune into it and really, assess the situation. What's this about? How is this helping me as a soul evolve and grow? How is it helping me to check into my own belief systems, my own experiences, and to transcend those? And so, what I came up with this week and felt Spirit inspire me to speak about today is the power of our belief systems, and how our belief systems can either help us and bless us greatly, they can serve us, or they can enslave us. And so that's the topic for today. And so something to kind of ponder as I enter this discussion. And I encourage you guys to call in. If anybody wants to call in today, I will do a live reading for whoever wants to be courageous and fun and playful with me and join the conversation live. It's 919-518-9773, or you can call into Computers 2K Voice through Skype. And I'd love to listen to what you have going on. Maybe there's a belief system that you have that you're aware of that's limiting you in some way, or perhaps there's something subconscious that you want to tune into that could be blocking your experience that you're ready to have. And it's interesting because I played this game this weekend. I offer a game night in my house every now and then called Illumination. And it's this really cool board game where we basically tune in. It's like doing a tarot reading, where we're tuning in deeply with Spirit, and Spirit is bringing the confirmation through the cards and through the connections with the people. And one of the cards that one of the girls drew was, I wrote it down because I felt like it was so perfect for the show, is what it says: what you believe, whatever you believe, whatever can be conceived and believed. Sorry, I just moved my mouse there. Whatever can be conceived and believed can be achieved. And that's a quote by Dr. Tom Kubistant or something like that. I'm not sure exactly how you say his name, but I completely agree with that. And the thing with belief system that can be so tricky is, I personally, from my experience of my own journey and watching how I've created as a creatress, talking to angels and tuning into higher consciousness, it isn't even really that important what any of us believe. This is how we each play the game of life. This is like where we each get our set of crayons and we get a color, however we feel inspired to color. The trick is that when we get attached to a certain color and we start to say this is the only color and all the other colors they don't exist, and then we want to deny everything else, this can limit us in a very, enslaving way. It can also really start to be disruptive to other creatresses and creators that are in our movie with us that are also coloring. If we feel like we have to pound our belief system into them and say there's only the color fuchsia, and so we want to, like, try to control everybody to only believe that's the only color there is in the box of crayons, which seems pretty ridiculous if we're dealing with crayons. But as humans, we do this every day, and we complicate life so much. And the way I look at it is, it doesn't matter what any of you believe. From my perspective, like, it's your beliefs aren't necessarily going to affect my experience in my movie, but it will greatly affect your experience. So here's the part where belief systems become important. If that belief system you're clinging to and attaching yourself to, and you're limiting the experience of life to that belief, If that belief system is not serving you, if it is not bringing you joy, it is not bringing you fulfillment, bringing you happiness in some way, I promise you it is worth scrapping. It's worth looking into and going, how come I keep believing this and it really sucks and it doesn't make my life enjoyable in any way? So I could keep holding on to it and batting people over the head with it and say, this is the only way, even though I don't even think it brings me joy. Or I could look into it and go, that's so interesting how I have attached myself to that belief system for so long to the point that I actually believed that this belief was who I am. And I say that because so many of us that get challenged, and it doesn't matter who you are, you could be an atheist that suffers greatly from your belief systems, or an atheist that your belief systems serve you greatly. You could be a Christian that's belief systems serve you greatly, or that creates suffering for you. You could be a woman that believes that being a woman gives you just as much right as any other human and that you are just as powerful, and that belief will propel you forward and you will do amazing things. Or you could be a woman that believes because I'm a woman, I have to work harder. Because I'm a woman, I'm not worth as much. I've literally had women in my life come to me from different religious organizations. And this is really, I'm just going to speak my own experience because that's the only way I can give you my truth. And I have had them tell me all this belief about their church and how, Tawnya, you need to be saved. You need to, you need to join this church. And like, this is the only way, like, this is the chosen way. And they're very fearful and they're not in their power. And what's interesting is a couple times this has happened. One time in particular, this woman came towards me. She kept projecting her belief systems on me, and I listened and I tolerated her. And then I got to a point where I was like, why do you call me all the time? Like, why do you want to come talk to me? And she's like, well, I just love your energy. I just love how positive you are. I love how, the way you look at life. And I feel really calm when I'm in your presence. And so I really enjoy talking to you. And I was like, awesome. I enjoy talking to you too. And then I was, tuning into what she was projecting on me. And I was like, listen, these belief systems that you cling to, they don't even seem to be serving your life. Can you see that? Can you see that your belief that you are less than your husband, your belief that you have to serve your husband at the cost of your own joy, is actually making you very stressed out and pissed off? But yet you're trying to tell me and convince me I should join you in that club. How is that going to make any sense? And I was just wanting her to tune into it. And as I explored that with her, I was like, what I'm getting intuitively is that at some level, you believe if you get enough people who believe like you do, that join your club, that then you will be saved and that will make your belief system more true. Yet, I see from a place of my clarity where I am at peace, I am not feeling less than anyone, and you're the one coming to me to talk to me. I see that perhaps rather than you thinking you need to save me and that I need to join your club, maybe you actually need to save yourself. And maybe that's exactly why you're guided to talk to a woman like me that refuses to believe in these belief systems, that refuses to submit to this limitation of believing I am less than because I'm a woman, or that I need to serve a man and be below them and be subservient because I'm a woman. Because that is not in my belief system. It is not in my movie. I will not tolerate that. And so it was interesting because this person was so convinced they needed to save me. And when it came down to it, it was a person really crying out for help that wanted to save themselves. Here's the thing. This could have gone either way. It could have gone in, you know what, that makes a lot of sense, Tawnya. Let me tune in. Let me explore that. But the way it did go was she lashed out at me. She, blocked me. She called me a lot of names, said that I was crazy. And I'm kind of used to how humans can behave when you challenge their belief systems. And I don't believe I deserve it, and I have no belief system connected to that. But I say this because when humans are very attached to a belief system, it is terrifying to them to have someone shine the light on that. If that belief system is something they identify with their very existence, if they feel that that is who they are, and they've identified and attached themselves so deeply to it, even if what you say makes sense, they will be terrified. And often this is when humans will lash out. They'll try to control you. They'll try to talk trash about you in the community. All the church ladies will be calling each other to pray for your soul. And it's fine because really that's just the way humans are going to act when they have their belief system challenged. What I observe, however, is that if we're in a position where if it's me believing so deeply, if I believed in angels, let's say, and I believe that something bad will happen if I don't do something in particular for the angels, and I got to go get everyone on the planet to hear about these angels, and they need to do Tawnya Love's way, and I am pushing it on people, and I am going door to door in my fear because I need to get enough people to be with me so that the angels and I will be, safe. It's the same thing. I will start to create this experience of fear and suffering that won't really serve myself and it won't serve others. But I could be very convincing in it. And I mean, look at we look at the Holocaust, we look at times in history like Hitler, very influential human, freaking insane, but influential. And so we can be very convincing in our insanity. And this is where we need to look into this as individuals of, if we want to evolve. And if you don't want to evolve, most likely you're not watching my show if you don't want to evolve. So if you are and you happened in here by accident, you're like, what the hell is this woman talking about? Feel free to move along. But if you like what I'm saying and it does kind of challenge you into your own growth, I encourage you to listen, and I encourage you to not listen to what I say, not take my word for it, but to go into meditation every day, to go into the woods on a walk and be quiet when you're churning and processing something. You're trying to figure out, why is it that every time I'm this close to some goal of mine, it just falls away and like doesn't work out for me. Right then, that's a perfect time to go inward and ask your guides. And if you don't believe you have guides, don't ask guides. If you believe in a God, tune into that. If you believe in source, open up to that. But the deal is, if you believe there's nothing that will assist you and support you, that in essence is going to create an experience for you. And if you believe that you are supported and you are loved by the universe, and that there are beings called angels or ascended masters or loved ones that have passed on that are there guiding you, if that is something that brings you love and joy and it opens you and it gives you a greater expansive view of the universe, and it feels supportive and it feels experientially as if it helps and uplifts your life, then by all means connect there, whatever that is. But remember, that is your way, so don't go push it on other people. If you have a belief system, and this is one that's come to me lately with a lot of the stuff that was going on in my movie, where people that really decided they just needed to tell Tawnya how to act and how to talk, and I was like, hell no. And so this was an amazing challenge that came to me. But as this challenge came in, I observed these humans, because I observe all of you. I do. That's what I do. And I observe myself the deepest. But I observe everything. And I think that's part of being an awakened, aware being. Being enlightened, in essence, is staying in a constant state of awareness and observation. You're constantly tuning in and observing and watching what is. So as I was observing, there was a lot of this discussion coming about shadow and light. And there was certain humans that were just pissed at me because I was saying the message, you are light. And I was saying to them, you're light, you're love. You are the infinite. You are infinite, amazing, vast consciousness. And in that consciousness, you have the opportunity to be and do and express and create anything. And it was challenging some people. And so they kept coming at me with this shadow stuff like, Tawnya, you need to own your shadow. You need to claim your shadow. You're not perfect. You're not God. And I was just like, what the hell is happening? But as I tuned in and observed this, I realized these humans have this deep belief system of duality, just like most of us have been conditioned to believe. If we've been brought up through religious belief systems, we could have been brought up with the hippies, and they also have a rigid belief system about, the people who eat meat and they're wrong, or the Democrats, they say the Republicans are terrible. So whatever it is we're taught, these start to become belief systems that start to mold our consciousness and our mind. And when we shut off infinite consciousness, we become hardened, and this is why I joke and I say, as a soul opens their the crown chakra and then the sacred star chakra, they open up to source energy, and we open the moonroof of the mind, is the way I like to refer to it. That is exactly what's happening. Is there's this process where we've been very bound and tight, and this is what is, and this is what is, and there's layer upon layer of all these beliefs that we are taught to believe, by the way, that are not necessarily true. And the only reason they will affect our life is because they will start to become true for our life because we believe in them. So if we decide one day, you know what? I've been my whole life told that money is the root of all evil. And in church, I'm always being told that money's evil. But then I'm starting to observe things, and there's like this awareness in the soul happens where she's looking out, and all of a sudden I'm like, if money's so evil, and the people at church are constantly telling me that, how come they're always fucking asking for my money? There's a question. And we start to tune in and we start questioning. And this is what pisses some people off, because they want you to believe in what they tell you, and they want to limit your belief system to where it controls you into a movement in a way that gives them what they want. Now, when we start waking up, it's kind of like the movie The Matrix. We start to see the illusion for what it is, but we can become very empowered. We don't need to be mad about people that they manipulate, but many of them do, and we can watch them do it. But when we attach ourselves to these belief systems, we start to also manipulate others because of that. And the best thing I can say is that you need, as individuals, to explore your own belief systems and tune in with honesty and with clarity and with courage. And it takes great courage to come into alignment. And when I talk about alignment, I don't mean that you have to, wear certain clothes and act a certain way and talk a certain way and behave a certain way. There is a real thing that is alignment, and we can feel this in our bodies. When we're not in alignment, we feel kind of crooked, and it causes pain in the body. And when we straighten out, I feel relief. I feel, more energy. I feel more alive and more comfortable in my body. When our soul's in alignment, body, mind, and soul alignment is happening, we feel more empowered. We feel more confident, courageous. We feel clarity. We feel wisdom, and we take aligned action. We're not afraid. We're not paralyzed in fear. We're not in doubt or confusion. So when I speak of alignment, that's what I'm talking about. And what I love helping humans with in Auric Clearing is helping them to tune in to where they have these subconscious belief systems that are actually holding them back from the lives they're ready to live. So I could tell you thousands of stories of clients that I've worked with, but there's some experiences recently where somebody having a belief system like the money is the root of all evil, and they're struggling to make ends meet. They're struggling to have abundance come in. And then they wonder why, but at the subconscious level, there's this part of their subconscious that is trying to protect them from that bad, nasty old money. And so they're always at war with money. They'll get some, but then they have to get rid of it really quick because it's evil. Or they, don't have any, but then they deep down secretly want some because they see that it would empower them and it would help them to do things they want to do. And so if we are attaching to a belief system like money is the root of all evil, it's going to affect your movie in every way with your own creation, with your own ability to manifest, to bring in abundance, and what you're going to do with that abundance. Uh-oh, did you lose me?
No, why?
Okay, because it just flashed that thing, so. Ah.
No, you're still there.
Hold tight there. Okay, so I'm going to pause for a second. Is anybody writing in with any questions, or does anybody want to call in? You want to discuss a question, or maybe somewhere where you saw you had a belief system that was causing you struggle and you've cleared it up? I opened that up for you.
There are no questions or comments yet on the chat.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Going back to belief system. If the belief system that you hold helps your life, let's say because I do believe I have angels and I've had so much confirmation, and I don't see them like people have told me. Like when I see pictures of angels as these like humans with wings, I don't see that. But I do see them as color, and I see them as energy of vibration and a color. I feel their presence when they come in. I feel their consciousness stream in, communicating with me. And so this is how I know that there is another being or some, different entities and beings beyond myself. And when I've tuned in and asked them, they say that they are the highest aspect of myself. So at the same time, they're saying that you are in this form, in a human form called Tawnya Love, but beyond this form, you are one with this consciousness that we share, and we are the highest aspect of your wisdom and your understanding. And so that experience for me helps me in such amazing ways. And I truly believe that miracles come to me. I believe that I am a miracle. I believe I am a creator of miracles. I believe that I am open and receptive to receiving miracles. And so, because of this, I create miracles and I am one and I am receiving them. So, if I decide that that feels really good, I'm going to keep believing that. That's a fun belief. That actually really is serving my mission. It excites me, it inspires me, it provides for me, it supports me, and it helps me to help others find an alignment that helps them have a more joyous way of living. Now, some humans that want to project on me when I'm in that high vibration, like recently I was such a high vibration, I was feeling so good. I had this 5-hour session with a client that was freaking amazing and phenomenal, and they all are amazing. But this was amazing, amazing experience in how this human saw so much of what I was doing vibrationally in their mind's eye. And I was just like, that is amazing. And I just loved hearing his side of it. And I loved my side of it. And the beauty of that moment, I was just like, oh, like high vibration. And then boom, some person comes in and they start lashing out at me about shadow and Tawnya, you need to own your shadow. And I just looked at it and I was like, what the hell? Like, deleted. And this was something where, and I think all of us have this in our own life. I came to a place where there's a part of me that's very compassionate, very patient, and very gentle. But if I get pushed so long, I kind of thought of it when I was in meditation. Like if I was sitting in the garden and I was meditating and there was mosquitoes just buzzing around in my ears and they kept trying to suck my blood. And I was like, being compassionate, I'm like, please, mosquito, please move on. Please don't suck my blood. Like show honor. And the mosquito is just doing what mosquito does. It's like, I am not listening to you. I'm going to suck your blood and I'm going to leave this nasty ass poison behind that's going to make you itch. And I don't care about your needs. And so I could lay there and just be very patient and receptive, which I was. And then a day comes where I either swat that mosquito, shake them off, I get up and move away from them, or I flare up my electric light so bright that I am the freaking bug zapper. And if they want to keep coming in, they can, but they're going to change when they enter that auric field. So there's so many options that we can have as how we deal with these annoyances in life. But what I decided that day, and some days I don't choose this, which I'm getting better at choosing this, but there has been times in my past when an annoyance comes in and I'm really high vibration, I'm so excited, and then I'm just like, what the hell? And I go, whew, attention shifts to that energy. I start kind of arguing with that. I give it my attention and I'm just frustrated and my energy drops. And this particular day that happened, it was like another test, and I just kind of swatted it away and I was like, no, I'm done. Clearly, you do not want to understand me and you do not want to be my friend. So if you did, you would enter with love. You're not doing that. Thank you. Good luck. Goodbye. Deleted. And then I come back. I'm feeling amazing still because I refuse to distract myself to that lower vibration. This all comes down to our belief system. If I believe I have to be, honoring and respectful and tolerant of abusive people, which I used to believe, and I was taught that. That was part of, I feel like, what I've been preached to since I was a child is being patient, being patient, being polite. Go be polite, Tawnya. Go over there and shake that person's hand. Go over there and tell them thank you. Go give them a hug. Go eat what they tell you to eat. We've been taught that, so many of us, since we were little. And as we get to a place where we have that awareness, we can continue that or we can say enough. And I can still be loving and I can still be polite, but I can also say, if you cannot show honor, goodbye, because I don't need it in my world. And then go back to focusing on my happy belief system. And I say that because some people were really convinced they needed to tell Tawnya that she was shadow and she had all this darkness she didn't want to see. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? I'm not in my movie. I am not focused on the darkness. I know it's here. Don't get me wrong. If any of you look around in the world, you can see that there is shadow and there is darkness and there is sadness, there is suffering, there is corruption. But If we're focused on that too long, that's where we start to create from. What I have learned to master, and I feel proud to express this and excited to express this because I hope it gives any of you watching and that are ready for a shift to actually learn that you are the ones in charge of what you're focusing on, and you are the ones in charge of what you're creating. You are in charge of your world. Your movie is your right to create. You're the director of it. So if there are humans coming around trying to disrupt your movie, you have a right to shift that. You have a right to move away from them. You have a right to speak up to them. You have a right to disagree with them. And it doesn't make you bad. It doesn't make you, a naughty bad girl. And if I'm an intuitive healer that tunes in, that does not mean I have to be someone's bitch. If I am someone that's very loving and giving, that does not mean that I'm going to tolerate if you take and walk over me. I will speak truth. So this is where we have to look into. I feel there's a lot of belief system, especially in the healing world, just from my observation, that is still moving through clearing away this martyrdom and this like deeper belief that in order to be holy vessels of love and light, we have to give it away, that money's the root of all evil. And this comes from ancient parts of ourselves where we've been taught that. There's belief systems that we have to suffer and we have to give all of our possessions away so that we can be holy, that we should not have materialism and material things. I don't agree. I feel like if I am happy in my life and I am in balance and I have abundance, that empowers me. It doesn't make me less of a holy vessel. I can open up and channel spirit and assist humans just as powerfully. And I feel more powerfully if I have a loving, beautiful home and environment, plenty of money in the bank. I can pay my bills. I can, keep the AC on when it's hot out, and I can keep the heat on when it's cold out. I feel like that empowers me. I can travel and go places and create. So money is an energy, and having that abundance come in, it supports me. It gives me what I need to do the more amazing and magical things that I'm ready to do as a soul. So that's just one tiny belief system that has a profound effect on a lot of the collective consciousness, which is money is the root of all evil. If we deep down inside believe that, one girl mentioned in yoga last week, she's like, I know a good belief, Tawnya. She goes, what about like the belief that there's a heaven and a hell, and that if you don't do good stuff, you're going